The latest Microsoft earnings report had a lot of negative numbers and concerning figures for most people. When you start diving deeper into those figures, though, you'll actually realize that Xbox, surprisingly, had its best fiscal year ever. Let's talk about all the good, all the bad, and go over each of them in detail right now. Thank you so much for watching. Hit that subscribe button, hit that bell to know when my content goes live. I greatly appreciate you checking out my YouTube channel. So let's dive right in right here. So basically, the earnings call may have seemed quite dour or negative, but there's actually some surprising figures in here that has a lot to say about where Microsoft is going and the potential their future earnings might have. So gaming revenue decreased $259 million, or 7%, driven by a decrease in Xbox content and services and Xbox hardware. Xbox content and services revenue decreased 6%, driven by lower engagement hours and monetization in third-party and first-party content, offset in part by growth in Xbox Game Pass subscriptions. Xbox hardware revenue decreased 11%. Now, when you take all that into account, I think it seems quite negative, but when you see that Xbox Game Pass is actually offsetting a lot of the otherwise huge dips, like hardware decreased 11%, that's no small feat. They actually commented on why you're seeing that decline. The decline you're seeing in Xbox hardware is partially a reflection of the fact that we had that launch about 2 years ago. So with the supply constraints that we had seen over the last couple years, it has kind of extended out that period for consoles, says good enough. We're still seeing strong demand, but coming off those highs that we saw in the last couple of years with the launch. And I've seen some analysts point out that, yes, the COVID boom for the entire gaming industry was eventually going to subside, and we're now finally seeing the effects of that happening. So let's continue on. Xbox content and services revenue decreased 6%. That's down 4% in constant currency. However, Nadella also points out on Xbox that we have been the market leader in North America for 3 quarters in a row among next-gen consoles. That's 3 quarters back to back, where Xbox has been selling well versus its other next-gen competition, the PlayStation 5. That's no small feat for Xbox. The fact that that's happening is really, really impressive, to say the least, because PlayStation clearly seems like the favorite in terms of hardware. But at the end of the day, hardware isn't what we're really super focused on today. Hardware is going to be down for everybody year over year, just because naturally more consoles are available. You're starting to hit that point where I think demand is slowing down. And like I said, the COVID boom has begun to subside. Also, we've partnered with Epic Games to make Fortnite available for free via the browser, said Nadella. Over 4 million people have streamed the game to date, including over 1 million who were new to our ecosystem. And that's just it. Microsoft is all about the ecosystem. That includes cloud, which includes mobile, which includes PC, which includes Samsung televisions. You don't even need the console anymore. So yeah, hardware sales are going to continue to decline, I would imagine, even though the Xbox Series X and S combo has been selling quite well for Xbox. 3 quarters in a row, the #1 in sales, and that's just compared to PlayStation, by the way. Nobody compares to Nintendo right now. So yeah. And then Microsoft CFO Amy Hood on the next quarter outlook. This is just general Microsoft stuff. Windows OEM decline in the high single digits. Service revenue decline in low single digits. Gaming revenue decline in low to mid single digits. Xbox content services revenue decline low mid single digits. Separately, a small thing, I wouldn't expect any news out of here. It's more for developers, but Microsoft is holding an in-person event in October. That'll be in Seattle. It's called Microsoft Ignite, and that will take place August 12th to 14th. That's just a little aside. So to recap, the Xbox gaming results from Microsoft financial year Q4, gaming revenue declined 7%. Content services revenue declined 6% due to lower engagement hours and monetization in third and first party content. That means they're not trying to fleece you as much, which I actually see as a good thing. Okay, they made a little bit less money, but they're still making billions of dollars, as I'll get to in just a second. Xbox hardware revenue declined 11%. Game Pass subscribers continue to grow. And I think part of that is because with Game Pass, you can just access those games via the cloud. You can play them on PC. You can play them on your console. You can kind of play them wherever you want. I already talked about how Nadella said that they have sold 3 quarters in a row amongst next-gen consoles. Here's a specific quote. In gaming, we sold more consoles life to date than any previous generation of Xbox and have been the market leader in North America for 3 quarters in a row among next-gen consoles, says Nadella. Now, Brad Sams actually looked at this number, and he was the first one who I saw say something about it, but it was backed up by another person who goes by DomsPlaying. So basically, Brad Sams says that Xbox made $3.5 billion for Xbox, and that's their second best quarter ever for Q4. Ever. Xbox revenue, and this was backed up by Doms, at about $16.2 billion for the fiscal year. That is the best fiscal year ever on record for Xbox in the entirety of its being, even with all the negative stuff that I just ran past you. Microsoft said last month that it's on track to release at least 5 first-party games in the next year. So this is coming from VGC, which would match or exceed its output in the previous 12 months. So far, Bethesda's Redfall and Starfield, which were recently delayed to the first half of 2023, are the only titles officially confirmed for release during Microsoft's fiscal year. That leaves at least 3 first-party games set to release before June 30th, 2023. That's according to VGC. So when you look at these numbers, negative, a lot of stuff. It's down for Q4. And I have to imagine because everything is delayed out of 2022, I think we're going to see a very soft 2022 in terms of reporting from Microsoft. Sony's reports earnings will come out this Friday, so we'll be able to make some correlations and compare how both companies are doing. I'm going to be very interested to hear more about how they are doing and see if they actually comment on the Bungie acquisition. But it's amazing that even with all the negative stuff on this earnings call, that at the end of the day, Xbox is saying, hey, we had our best fiscal year ever. That means they beat the 360, the Xbox One, any other console that they have ever released. So they're doing something right if it seems to be working for them. I'm just as surprised as you are to be saying that. And then finally, there was one last note about the Activision deal, which is set to close quite soon. The Activision stock was actually upgraded on increasingly compelling merger arbitrage opportunity. If a market best get, oh my God, this is like all stock stuff I don't understand. But basically, it sounds like it was upgraded in terms of rating because it does seem like that the deal is going to go through. In Griffin's view, waiting for proper FTC approval could help the deal win the blessing of regulators and other markets that need to clear the combination. We believe that having a rigorous review followed by ultimately an approval from the FTC would be quite the feather in Microsoft's cap as it relates to getting peer agencies around the world to bless the deal, he wrote. Daring the FTC to block the deal in U.S. courts, not so much. So basically they're saying, let them look into it. Take your time with the deal because if it passes the FTC's muster, then it's more likely to go through. So Xbox had its best fiscal year of all time. It had its second best Q4, second best quarter of all time. Even with all that bad stuff in the report, I'm very surprised to hear that. And then let's say the Activision deal, which we know might go through in the next 15 days left, before the FTC has a chance to respond. So that deal could go through, further sweetening the pot of Game Pass, which will in turn result in more subscribers in the longer term. It's going to be a real interesting year, and I can't wait to dive into Sony very soon. Hey, thank you so much for watching this video. I definitely appreciate you hanging out. Hit that subscribe button, hit that bell to know when my content goes live. I greatly appreciate you watching. Thank you so much. If you want to become a member, memberships are turned on. Thank you so much to the members who support this channel. You should be getting this video very soon, but if you want to become a member and get early access to videos, you can click that join button right down there. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. I'm going to get out of here and get you with the next one. Bye for now.